The British chemicals and technology company Johnson Matthey released its annual figures earlier today, recording a pre-tax profit of just under £500 million and revenue of more than £12 billion. The company can trace its origins back precisely 200 years to the day when Percival Johnson started off as a gold assayer. These days it makes a whole range of products, glass, metals, medicines, but one of its mainstays is catalytic converters, used to take emissions out of engines. And those emissions are a topic we've heard quite a lot about recently. Here in the studio with me is Robert MacLeod, Chief Executive of Johnson Matthey. Robert, evening to you. Let's kick off with those emissions. Dieselgate was a nightmare for VW. Was it actually rather good news for you?
Well, I mean, it's obviously brought the topic of emissions very much into the public eye. And of course, that's where we're a part of the solution, because our products are there, our catalytic converters are there to help take those harmful pollutants out of the atmosphere. And in fact, last year, we took out more than 20 million tonnes of pollutants and stopped them from entering the atmosphere across the world.
Engines won't be around forever. Certainly diesel and petrol engines won't be around. How are you adapting to a future that is likely to be electric?
Well, I think diesel and petrol cars are going to be here for some time to come. But we are investing in batteries too. So we've got a battery technologies business, so we're investing in the new generation of battery materials. So the clever bit that goes inside the cell that makes the battery last longer or go further is safe, and that needs a better material. And that's where we can use our chemistry expertise to make a better material, and we're investing in that today.
That is a fiercely competitive field at the moment. I mean, there's everyone from Tesla to Panasonic to Ford, all working on battery technology. How are you going to find the niche for Johnson Matthey?
Well, I think it's all about the chemistry, and I think people are doing very different things. What Tesla are doing is totally different from what Panasonic are doing, Panasonic being a supplier to Tesla. But we would be a supplier to somebody like Panasonic. They're not going to have all the chemistry expertise that we have, and so we will be a supplier to them. And what we believe is if you can make a better material, you can make a better battery, which will go further, and then the cell companies will want it, and then the car companies will want it from the cell manufacturer. So that's the niche we want to play.
What do you think is the range, the crucial range that we need to get over? Because still people worry that an electric car won't go far enough, they get concerned about that. How far does it need to go before we all stop worrying?
Well, I think it's a little bit more than just range. I think it's charging time, and I think it's predictability, because it obviously varies by temperature and by the whole environment. So I think when it gets to 200-300 miles and it can charge very quickly, then I think that's something people will go for more. Some time to come, though.
Must ask you about Brexit. I mean, pharmaceuticals, so many things you do are hugely regulated, lots of European regulations involved there. What are you going to do about Brexit?
Well, we said before Brexit happened that I think we'll find a way to navigate through this. I mean, you said we're 200 years old, we've been through 2 world wars, to name 2 things that have been very traumatic for the country. So we'll get through this all right. I mean, what we want to do is make sure that we work with government to come up with a process that works effectively for industry. For us, what matters as much as possible is to allow that movement of trade as easily as possible, because, of course, that will just lengthen supply chains if it becomes too long and too arduous. So we're working with government on that, and I think the devil's in the detail on all these things. Very easy to make big sweeping statements, but it'll all come down to individual contracts, individual clauses.
And a few pharmaceutical companies have suggested they're looking at relocating to Europe, or at least setting up subsidiary. Would you look at doing anything there? I mean, you're headquartered in Britain at the moment.
We're headquartered in Britain. There's no plans at all to move our headquarters. We are investing, we announced today, investing in a new plant in Poland, but that has nothing to do with Brexit. That's because we need capacity and flexible and efficient plants. So, no, I think we'll carry on being a UK company for the next 200 years.
Thank you very much indeed. Good to hear that. The ringing endorsement, Robert MacLeod there, Chief Executive of Johnson Matthey.